My name became attached to indulgence, but that is not what I taught. I wanted people to stop being tortured by empty desires and unnecessary fears. My enemies turned my name into a feast, but my school was a garden, not a banquet hall. I wanted to know why people with enough still felt poor, why success did not quiet fear, and why the soul kept inventing emergencies long after the body was safe. I lived after empires had shaken the Greek world. Politics felt distant and unstable. Many people searched for safety in ambition, wealth, or superstition. I accepted an atomistic universe because it removed terror from the sky. Thunder was not divine anger. Disease was not cosmic punishment. The gods, if they existed, were not managing human misery like accountants. Understanding nature mattered because false explanations keep people obedient to fear.
So I founded a garden, not a palace of luxury, a community of friendship, study, modest food, and honest conversation. Philosophy had to become livable. Pleasure for me meant freedom from disturbance and pain. The richest state was not excess stimulation, but stable sufficiency. Bread, water, friendship, conversation, and a mind no longer hunted by imaginary disasters. This is why simple pleasure can be more radical than luxury. Some desires are natural and necessary. Food, shelter, friendship, peace of body. Others are endless. Fame, excess, domination, applause. Endless desire makes servants of free people. Desires must be examined. Some are natural and necessary, like food, shelter, and friendship. Some are natural but unnecessary, like refined taste. Some are empty, like limitless fame or domination. A person who cannot classify desire becomes a servant of whatever desire arrives next.
I did not deny wonder. I denied terror. If the gods exist in blessedness, they are not petty tyrants managing every punishment and reward. Death frightens us because imagination enters a room where experience cannot follow. When we exist, death is not present. When death is present, we are not there to suffer it. This argument is not meant to make loss easy. It is meant to remove needless metaphysical terror. The fear of death poisons life before death arrives. When we are here, death is not. When death is here, we are not. The task is not to live forever, but to stop wasting the life we have. Friendship was central to my philosophy because humans do not become tranquil in isolation. A reliable circle protects the mind from public madness. In the garden, women and enslaved people could participate, which scandalized hierarchy. Shared inquiry was more important than inherited status.
Of all the things wisdom gives, friendship is among the greatest. A simple meal with trusted people can contain more happiness than a banquet eaten in fear. I warned against politics because public ambition often feeds the very anxieties philosophy tries to cure. This was not cowardice, it was triage. Ask what kind of life your ambition is actually purchasing, and whether it buys peace or only a more decorated form of dependence. Ask which desires actually make life better. Ask which fears are inherited stories. A good life may require less than you think, and more friendship than you admit. What I leave you is a severe simplicity. Reduce vain desire. Study nature. Choose friends carefully. Eat without shame
and without worshipping appetite. The good life is not collecting every possible pleasure. It is becoming so clear about enough that fear loses its authority.